What's up, everybody? Y'all, I'm getting this stuff straight. Okay. What's going on, everybody? What's going on? All right. Let's get started. So, guys, I told you we were going to start doing pop-ups on talks. Let's chat talks on the Let's Chat All Singles page on Facebook. And so this is our first one, and so I'm so excited about it. So make sure every Thursday, it's going to be every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. I will come on, or and sometimes I may have some friends come on with me, and we're just going to be talking about relationships from the biblical perspective. Also, want to let you guys know that our last show, Let's Chat All Singles last show for this year is Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We're having Pastor Brian and Pastor Kathy Lee as our speakers for this last Let's Chat. Thank you so much for coming on, uh, Ms. Santos. And yeah, so we're having our last Let's Chat for the season on Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We're having Pastor Brian and Kathy Lee. They're doing part two, and then we will start our new season in 2022. But we will be coming here every Thursday, popping up, talking about relationships from the biblical perspective. So we are excited um, about our new adventure here on Facebook Live. So we're doing it on YouTube and Facebook Live. So make sure you share the broadcast. Make sure you leave a comment to let me know you were there. If you're looking at the replay, make sure you leave a comment. Let me know that you watched the replay. So what we want to talk about tonight, which I am so excited about, we're talking about intent and impact. And so a lot of times we think because we have the right intentions, right, that somehow the impact is going to come out correctly well. But that's not always the case when it comes to relationships. We can have good intentions, but yet not have the right, but the wrong impact happens. And so let's use impact as something called consequences, right? So you have good intentions, right? So let's say you're single, you know this guy likes you. Hey, Teresa, thank you for joining us. And so let's say that and I'm talking to single Christian women and men, okay? Because we have a standard. There is a standard. Thank you, Marvin, for coming on. We have a standard that we go by as Christians. The world do their thing, but the Christians have a different standard. And so part of our responsibility is to make sure that when we enter into a relationship of any kind, that number one, our intent is pure, and that the impact that it leaves a great impact on the person. So let me give you an example. So if you're a Christian and you some guy asks you out, you know good and well you don't like the guy, he's not your type, and so you just want to be kind. And so let's just say you want to be kind for the first time. Hey, what's up, cuz? What's up, Teresa? And so let's say you want to be kind this first time, right? And you want to go out. Okay, no big deal. But let's say you continue to go out with this guy. Now you already know that you're not interested. You know you don't want him, but yet you still allow this guy to take you out, pay for your food, pay for the movies, wherever you go, you allow him to bring you gifts. But you already know that in your intent, right, is not to be with this guy. As a Christian, part of your responsibility is not to do that. You can let the guy know, hey, listen, I know you mean well. Thank you so much, but I'm just not interested, and I don't want you to spend your money on me. One of the things that I used to do when I was dating, I would never allow a guy, and I was interested in the guy, but I still would not allow him to buy me certain types of gifts. Why? Because it was too early in the game. And sometimes what happens is that people like to what happens is that men like to use gifts, right, to hide behind. And so I don't want any men hiding behind gifts. And so I'm not saying they can't buy you something. I'm just saying all this extravagant gifts. Like you can't buy me a car, you can't buy me a house, and you just met me just the other day. So all these extravagant gifts, you need to you need to shut that down, because a lot of times people hide behind money. And it's the same thing, men. When you are looking for a woman, you need to make sure that she's just not looking for security alone, right? Security means a lot to us. So let me tell you what I mean about that, men. We will marry you, have your kids, and still don't want you. It's the truth, because of security. We'll do it for security. We don't have to love you. We'll learn to love you. I mean, we have all kind of things going in our minds. So you men have to be very careful about the woman that you date, right? Because it can't just be about security alone. She needs to be able to love you just the way you are. And so if you don't have a dime, will she still stay? Okay, if you get sick, will she, will she be there with you? So these are the type of things that you need to be looking for when it comes to a woman, that she cares about your well-being. And women, same thing with you all. We need to make sure as Christians that we have the right intent, and that the impact is a positive impact. So whether someone remains in our life or not, they ought to be better if they leave or if they stay. So if they leave, they should be better. If they stay, they should be better, right? So that's intent and impact, because sometimes we think because our intentions are not bad, that the impact is going to line up with that, and that's not all necessarily true, right? Sometimes there's consequences to behavior, with all good intentions. And so let me say this to you: good relationships aren't a box you check, right? It's not, you don't check a box and you just all of a sudden you have a good relationship. That's not how that works, right? They require deliberate, active daily work. I'm going to say that again. They require deliberate, active daily work. It's a skill, right? So you have to learn the skills. If you're not a good communicator, you need to go learn how to become a good communicator. That means you may need to take a communication class. That may mean you may need to go um, to counseling. I mean, there's a couple of things I recommend for the Christian. When you need to go through deliverance, and you need to go to counseling. You need therapy. Why? Because you have childhood issues that you need to deal with. Because what happens is that we think forward mean that we have dealt with all of the issues. No, forward just means forward. So if you're forward and still broken, right? Once you get into a relationship, that brokenness is going to come out. You can't hide it. Trust me, you can't hide it. You can only hide it but for so long. So you have to make sure that, one, you get delivered, you go through deliverance, and then you need to go to counseling. And I would say that for the man and the woman. Why? So you can begin to deal with all those things that happened to you in your childhood, or even some of your bad experiences that you've had throughout your life. It is important that you get that stuff straightened out. It is important that you don't have any unforgiveness in your heart towards anyone, because it will show up in a relationship, in a romantic relationship. Yes, it will. If you have unforgiveness with your father, you have unforgiveness with your mother, siblings, it doesn't matter. It will show up in your romantic relationship. And so, one of the things that I want to tell you guys tonight, understand that to be in a relationship, it takes skill. You need skill. You need wisdom. You need understanding. You need the attitude of sacrifice. You need the attitude of forgiveness, right? And the attitude of service. If you don't want to serve another person, and I'm not talking about being someone's doormat, but I'm talking about sincerely serving someone, then guess what? Then you're probably not ready for a relationship, because it takes all of that, right? It takes an attitude of forgiveness, an attitude of sacrifice, and the attitude of service to remain in a relationship with someone. And sometimes we just don't have the skills to do it. And that's where therapy comes in. You need to make sure you check yourself, and be honest with yourself where you are, right? Let me give you a prime example. And this goes for any relationship. Let me give you a prime example. I have a couple of mentees. Well, my first mentee, I can remember she would come to my office. I would mentor her all the time, give her advice, counsel her. And I can remember going up to the altar and being prayed for. And one of the words that I got, that God said, hey, listen, there's a young lady that you're going to mentor. Don't send her away. Right. And the reason why the Holy Spirit said to me, don't send her away, because I knew deep down inside that I was still broken in some areas, and I didn't want to mentor someone and then I cut them. I wasn't concerned about bleeding on them, because if someone bleeds on you, you can just change your shirt, right? Just change your shirt, you put on a new shirt, right? You don't go around the person anymore, so they won't bleed on you. But you don't want to cut anybody with your brokenness, and then yet now you have a wound with them. Now they have a wound from your brokenness. No, I was trying to protect her from the broken parts of me that I knew that was not quite healed yet. But God said to me, no, go ahead, because I was healed enough to be able to mentor someone. And that's the self-awareness that I'm talking about, that you need to be so self-aware about what's going on with you, right? To you fully understand that you do your best to try to protect those that you love, right? From the broken parts of you. And now in this case, God still gave me the okay to go ahead and mentor her. He could trust me with her. And so, but I still, there are things that you still need to get together, and there are things that you need to take care of, that we are just walking around acting like it's no big deal. It's a big deal, and they're going to show up again in any relationship that you get into, and especially a romantic relationship. So I want to really drop these few nuggets to you guys this evening, so you all could really go ponder, really think about, look yourself in the mirror. Is there any unfinished business that I need to take care of, that potentially that can show up in my romantic relationship? Your mindset must be changed, right? And so if your mindset hadn't been changed, it's going to show up in your relationship. It just is, right? And it's going to cause this rift. And then guess what, women? And I'm really talking to women on this one. Women, marriage or having a man is not the be all end all. Okay. So you can't act like, oh, I'm going to be whole. I'm going to feel better once I get somebody. No, it has nothing to do with that, because no one else can make you happy but yourself, right? They can add to your happiness, but they cannot make you happy. So you have to already come with that. And I know we've heard this over and over, but sometimes women, we just have this thing to think that life will be so much better if we had somebody. No, life is going to be better once once you are whole on the inside, and you begin to pursue and go after the things that you were created to do. That's when you're going to feel good about yourself. And I'm not saying God can't use a man to help those dreams come to pass. What I'm saying, that ultimately it is your responsibility to become all who God has created you to become. So if you never get married, you still should be awesome. If you never, you know, walk down the aisle, you should still become that greatest person that God has called you to be. And so I want to leave you guys with that tonight. Remember, we're going to be popping up here every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. For those who missed that announcement, and I'm going to have some guest speakers come on as well. So it just won't just be me talking every Thursday. It will be some friends as well. And so I wanted you all to really think about, if you're ready to be in a relationship, look yourself in the mirror and say, have I really dealt with the unfinished business on the inside of me? And if I got communication skills, I need to go get a communication class, right? If you selfish, you don't need to be in a relationship. You need to wait. I'm just telling you, it is miserable, all right, to be with someone that's selfish. If you are selfish, you don't need to be in a relationship. You need to go. You need to first go through counseling. Okay, you need some therapy if you're selfish, so you can learn how not to be selfish. Because being in a relationship, there's a lot of sacrifice. And if you're just thinking about you, the person that you're with is going to be miserable. Even if they stay with you, they're going to be miserable. So all of these things are your responsibility to do. And remember, as Christians, right? As Christians, we have a responsibility to become the best version of ourselves. And that when people enter into our lives, they ought to be better, right? Whether they stay or leave. So I want to leave that with you guys. Watch your intent and impact when you're dealing with relationships. If you know you don't want the person and you know that you're not interested, don't allow the person to spend all this money on you and you just use them just so you can get out the house. Well, take yourself out. If you that concerned about getting out, take yourself out. Take yourself to dinner, pay for your own meal. But don't use somebody else to accommodate your loneliness. Don't use them to accommodate something that is your responsibility. So I want to leave that with you guys on tonight. And so I'm excited about these every Thursday nights at 8:30 p.m. I'm going to be dropping nuggets every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. So make sure you guys show up and share the broadcast and leave a comment down below to let me know that you were watching. And I'll see you guys next week at 8:30 p.m. on the Left Chat All Singles Facebook page and YouTube. So y'all don't forget, this Sunday is our Left Chat All Singles last episode show. We're having Pastor Brian and Pastor Kathy Lee part 2. And I'll have the flyer out so you guys can dial in. It's a conference call, but that will be our last show for the season. But the Thursday nights will continue to happen. Okay, so it's going to be great. They were wonderful. If you haven't seen part 1, you can go on. It should be on the Left Chat All Singles Facebook page, and it should be on YouTube. Make sure you go check it out. It was absolutely awesome. So they're going to do part 2, our last show for the season. And so we are excited about that. So you guys have a great night. I hope you have a wonderful night. Get prepared for tomorrow and be blessed. Okay. Have a good one. Bye bye.